Hey guys, so it is time to bottle our apple cider. It has been sitting now, let's see, when did we do it? 11/6, so a month and a half. This is the end of December, actually almost 2 months. And you could definitely siphon this off of here again into another carboy and let it set again, so that you get rid of all of the sediment. And let me see if I can show you the amount of sediment that's on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that stuff on the bottom, but I have never done that. I have always just done the one, siphon off, put it in the carboy, and then bottle it. So that is what we are going to do. However, because we are making cider, and I want it to be sparkling cider, we need to add some sugar back into this. Otherwise, it will not be sparkling. It will be flat, which you absolutely could just bottle it right now, straight from here, and have it be flat. I like mine sparkling, so the yeast needs a little bit more sugar to eat to make bubbles. All right, so we had just under 2 gallons, and we are supposed to add a 1/4 cup of sugar per gallon. So that would be about a 1/2 cup. Wait, before we do that, we need to take the gravity. So as with before, just gonna fill this guy up here. Smells like cider. Put our hydrometer in here. And it should be at 1. Let's see here. Actually, more like 0.99. 0.99. All right. That is perfect. So there is some equation that you do now with these numbers. Our starting gravity, which was the 1.085, I think, and this final one of 0.99. And that will tell us the alcohol content of our cider. I will figure that out, what that equation is, and let you know in just a minute. But for now, I want to add my sugar because I need to stir this, obviously, and I want the sediment to all go back down to the bottom before we start bottling. So just going to give this a good stir. And while we are waiting for that to happen, I need to wash all of my bottles and sanitize them. For our alcohol content, we take our initial reading, which was 1.085. And on this very tattered but handy dandy little thing, we go to 1.085, and the potential alcohol percent of volume is 11.2. Then we take our current reading, which was 0.99. Right, 0.990. And that is negative 1.3. This is going to be fairly high alcohol content. You subtract those two numbers, so that would give us 12.5. 12.5% alcohol is what this cider is going to be. So it's going to be fairly strong. It's okay. Just don't drink very much of it at once. But that is how you figure it out, and that is why you need to take your reading before you put it into your fermentation and after, right before you bottle it. You can get your alcohol content. All right, let us get our bottles cleaned up. So first thing we need to do is get some sanitizer going in here. So I'm going to wait to put the sanitizer in until I've filled up the sink. so it doesn't get all bubbled up. But I will go ahead and get my bottles in here. Actually, I'm going to give them all a good rinse. They are all clean, but they have been sitting out in the garage, so they might be a little dusty on the inside. I also think I should be able to figure out how many bottles I actually need. Let's see. So, how much liquid does a bottle here? 12 fluid ounces. Okay. 256 ounces in 2 gallons. So 256 divided by 12. Ooh. 21.3 bottles. That's a little bit more than I was expecting it to be. All right. Let me see how many I have in here. Should have counted as I put them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14. Actually, I think I might have enough without having to clean off labels off a bunch of new bottles. 16, 18, 19. Yay! Because cleaning labels off of wine and beer bottles is a pain in the patootie. So this is cider from 2020. So we're going to open it and see if it's any good anymore. Because cider isn't typically something that you age. So this sanitizer that I'm using, I just put it into a different bottle because the one it was in broke. It's called Star San, and you do not need to rinse your items after you have sanitized them with this. So you just basically swoosh it around in there, and that's it. And you also don't have to use very much of it. It's 1 ounce per gallon, 5 gallons of water. So. And since we have the pour spout on the carboy, we don't need to sanitize a bottle filler and all of that. I do have that, but that's if you're going to have to siphon it from the top and pour it through a tube or something like that. So this should fill very easily, and so that's all we need to do for sanitizing. And if you didn't want to use chemicals for sanitizing, I imagine it would be fine just to boil them. I don't know how long you'd want to look that up if you were going to do that, because I assume that would be considered sanitizing them. But it's just so much easier to do it this way. All right, shall we open this guy and see what it tastes like? So one of the issues I had with this batch is when I bottled it, I put quite a bit more than a half a cup of sugar or quarter cup of sugar per gallon. So these are a little explosive. Sometimes they literally like foam all over the place. So I'm going to open it in the sink. And we're going to hope for the best. Yep. Some of the bottles haven't done this, but most of them have. Oh, it still smells really good. Oh my goodness. It smells delicious. Super appley. What's fun is that you can see all the bubbles. So this is not a sweet cider at all, because pretty much the yeast that is in here is going to eat all of the sugar, which is what makes the bubbles. A lot of the ciders that you can get in the store, they will have killed the yeast off and then added some sugar back into it, or juice or something to add some sweetness. So that's typically, and then they use carbon dioxide. What is the stuff that you use to make bubbles in soda? Whatever that stuff is, let me know. They put that into it to make it bubbly. But this is the all natural way of getting bubbles in your cider. Oh, it smells so good. Still good. Cheers. All right, it is not quite as clear as I would have liked, but it is good enough. So we are just going to go for it. I'm not looking to have a perfectly clear cider anyway. So here are our little happy dealy bobbers. And this is the thing we use to put them on with. And all of our bottles are right here. So let's just get pouring. Should probably take the top off here. I don't know if you can see where the level is, right there. So not all the way up to the top, but pretty close. So I'm just going to fill them all first, and then I will put the tops on. All right. Pretty much all that I have left is the gunky stuff at the bottom. So I think we're good. I think we got 19, 18 bottles. So 16, 17, 18, 19. So pretty good considering I was expecting, well, if we had had 2 full gallons, there would have been 20, a little over 21. And I did not have 2 full gallons, so perfect. Now comes the fun part of capping them. The last time I did this, I recall having issues with this guy. Oh, and it's all sticky. Yeah, just a second. All right, let's see how this goes. Oh, yeah, it has a little magnet in there. And you just put it on. And crimp. Oh, yay! And it looks like that. When you are doing this kind of cider, anytime you are doing a not still, so sparkling cider, you really need to use these type of caps. Otherwise, too much air will come out and it won't be bubbly. If you don't really care about the bubbles, you could absolutely use flip top type bottles. But like I said, like the bubbly. So, which is funny because I don't really like champagne all that much. But I really like my cider to be bubbly. If you drink cider, which do you prefer? And are you a sweet or a dry cider drinker? I don't mind a sweet cider every now and then, but for the most part, I much prefer dry. And by the way, these bottles are all old beer bottles that I just cleaned and took the labels off of. This was a Windermere Hefeweizen bottle, and I have probably used them. This is probably the 4th time I've used them. So you do not have to spend a bunch of money buying bottles. Well, I guess I did buy the beer, but I was going to buy the beer anyway, so if you're not a beer drinker, then yeah, you're going to have to make the output of buying bottles. You could absolutely cork these as well, like put them in wine bottles and use corks. Although, again, if you wanted to do sparkling, you would need to do champagne corks. And I'm not sure how, you'd probably have to have a special kind of thing, like beyond just a normal corking thingamabobber that looks a lot like this, to do champagne corks. All right, they're all done. And that is it. Cider making 2024 is at its finish. So, this is actually empty. I can get rid of that one now. And we just need to clean our carboy and the top, and we are all done. This can all get put away. So we won't want to drink this for probably a good 3 to 6 months. It'll still taste pretty, what's the word? Not bitter, but it just won't have great flavor at this point if you tried to drink it, and it wouldn't have any bubbles. So definitely if you want bubbles, you need to wait 3 to 6 months to get something that looks more like this. So, cheers, you guys.